My daughter screamed, "Pay the rent or get out!" But she didn't know, this house is mine, bought with $1 million secret I've hidden for 20 years. Have you ever felt betrayed by family? Like, share, and subscribe to join me in unveiling the secret that changed everything. I'm Henry Grayson, 77, still kicking, despite what my creaky joints tell me. Every morning at 6 a.m., I haul myself out of bed feeling like an old truck with a bad suspension. Old habits die hard after a lifetime of work. I live in a small room on the first floor of a big beautiful house in Slidell, Louisiana. 3 stories, magnolias, out back, a pond that glows at sunrise. My daughter Laura thinks she's the landlord, and I'm just some tenant she's doing a favor for, coughing up $2,000 a month to stay. If only she knew the truth. This morning's no different. The fridge door slams in the kitchen. Laura's prepping breakfast for Nathan, her husband, with all the grace of a sledgehammer. She's 42. My youngest always been a tough nut to crack. I kept thinking it's because her mom Clara died when she was 15. That kind of loss can mess you up, right? But I've stopped making excuses. Laura's coldness isn't just grief. It's her. Right on schedule, she bangs on my door. "Henry, you alive?" She snaps like I'm an inconvenience. "Not dead yet." I shoot back, same old routine. "You're lucky we even let you stay here," she mutters, walking off. That stings more than I let on. I dress slow. Picking a worn flannel, Laura keeps the heat low to save a buck. Nathan's a financial analyst, makes plenty, but they pinch every penny like it's their last. In the mirror, I see a thin old man, gray hair fading faster than my patient's hands, scarred from 45 years as an electrician. Everyone thinks I'm scraping by on a pension. What they don't know is the 7-figure secret I've carried for 20 years, heavier than any cable I ever hauled. At breakfast, Laura slides me a bowl of watery oatmeal, no butter, half a banana, sliced paper thin. "For your health," she says, but it's about saving a dime. She's sipping coffee. Nathan's glued to his laptop, barely nodding my way. Their world's all numbers, no heart. Rent's due. Monday. Henry, Laura says, eyes on her phone. Utilities are $350 this month. I nod, swallowing my anger. $350 last month was $300. I use one bulb and shower like I'm rationing water, but to them, I'm a walking bill. I want to yell, "This is my house, Laura." I've got a management company handling the papers so she never suspects a thing. But I bite my tongue, for now. Then Sophie, my 19-year-old granddaughter, breezes in. She's a college freshman, works at a coffee shop, and the only one who doesn't make me feel like a burden. "Morning, Grandpa," she says, kissing my cheek and slipping me a real cup of coffee, none of Laura's cheap instant stuff. "How'd you sleep?" she asks, grabbing an apple. "Half counting sheep, half my sore feet," I joke. She laughs, and for a second, I'm not just an old man. Laura rolls her eyes. "Sophie, you've got class," she snaps. "Don't bother him." Sophie shoots her mom a look, but grabs her bag, whispering, "I'll call you Grandpa. That girl's my lifeline." Back in my room, I feel the walls closing in. It's small, but mine bed desk chair by the window. Detective novels I reread to escape. Clara's picture sits on the desk, her eyes warm and honest. I miss her every damn day. I kept thinking she'd call me a fool for this lie I'm living. I kneel by a loose floorboard, open a hidden safe, and pull out a bank statement, a 7-figure balance from a 2005 lottery win that bought this house. "Not yet, Clara," I whisper. "I've kept it from Laura, from Miles, from everyone. They'd bleed me dry and still want more." What I didn't see coming was how much longer I could take this. Laura's demands are sharper, her patience thinner. Sophie's smile keeps me going, but something's gotta give. I'm not just an old man they can push around, not anymore. You ever have a secret so big it feels like a brick sitting on your chest? That's me, Henry Grayson, carrying a $1.8 million secret for 20 years. Back in 2005, I hit the lottery jackpot, $1.8 million, enough to change everything. I was 57, still working as an electrician, hands calloused from decades of wiring up Slidell's power lines. Clara, my wife, was sick, fighting cancer that was eating her away. I kept thinking I'd tell her that the money would give us a lifeline, maybe better doctors, a nicer place to rest her head. But what I didn't see coming was how fast she'd slip away. By the time I cashed the check, Clara was gone, and I was alone with a fortune I couldn't bring myself to touch. I never told my kids, Laura and Miles. Not because I didn't love them, God knows I did, but because I knew them too well. Even as kids, they were always asking for more, a new bike, a bigger allowance, a fancier wedding. Clara and I scraped by to give them everything, but it was never enough. I kept thinking, if they knew about the $1.8 million, they'd burn through it faster than a match in a gas can. So I did the only thing that made sense, I hid it. I bought this big house in Slidell for $600,000, 3 stories, a porch, a pond out back, and told Laura and Miles I was renting it. I set up a management company to handle the paperwork, taxes, the works, so they'd never suspect I owned the place. Every month, I send Laura $2,000 for rent, just moving money between my own accounts. It's a lie, sure, but it's kept my fortune safe. Or so I thought. This morning, I'm back at the kitchen table staring at another bowl of that god-awful watery oatmeal Laura calls breakfast. She's at the counter griping about the electric bill. Henry, you've been leaving lights on again, she says, her voice sharp as a knife. That bill's through the roof, $350 this month. I clench my jaw. $350, I barely use a single bulb, and the shower's off before the water's even warm. Nathan, her husband, looks up from his laptop, nodding like I'm some deadbeat freeloader. Bills don't pay themselves. Henry, he says, his tone dripping with that smug know-it-all vibe. They're obsessed with pinching pennies like I'm the reason they can't afford their fancy lifestyle. I want to scream, "This is my house, you ingrates." But I swallow it down, same as always. I've spent 20 years playing the broke old man, and I'm not ready to blow it yet. After breakfast, I shuffle back to my room, my sanctuary from their cold stares. I'm tinkering with an old radio I found at a thrift shop. Fixing things is my escape, keeps my hands busy, and my mind off the loneliness. The radio's guts are spread across my desk wires, tangled like my thoughts. Clara used to tease me, saying I could fix anything but our kids' greedy hearts. I kept thinking she was right, that maybe we spoiled them too much. My eyes drift to her picture on the desk, those warm brown eyes that always saw through me. I miss her so much, it hurts like a bruise that never heals. Then the mail comes and my heart skips a beat. There's a letter from the Slidell Community Center addressed to anonymous donor. That's me. For years I've been quietly sending them money. $50,000 here, $100,000 there, to fund scholarships for kids who can't afford college or trade school. It's my way of honoring Clara, who taught kids before she got sick. I'm about to tuck the letter away when Laura barges in, no knock like always. "What's that?" she asks, eyeing the envelope. I shove it under a book, my pulse racing. "Just some junk mail," I lie, forcing a smile. "You know, ads for hearing aids and such." She narrows her eyes like she smells something off. "Don't waste my stamps on that crap," she snaps, then storms out. What I didn't see coming was how sharp her suspicions are getting. That letter's a crack in my armor, and Laura's not one to let things slide. I sit back the radio, forgotten, my hands shaking. Fixing wires is easy. Fixing this family is a whole other beast. I've kept this secret to protect what's mine, but it's starting to feel like a cage. Laura's demands. Nathan sneers they're tightening the screws, and I'm not sure how much longer I can hold out. But then things flipped upside down and I realized I might not have a choice. You ever notice how some people only show up when they need something? That's my son Miles. 50 years old and still acting like a kid begging for a new toy. I'm Henry Grayson, still stuck in this small room in my own damn house in Slidell, pretending to be a tenant to keep my $1.8 million secret safe. After Laura's latest jab about the electric bill and that close call with the community center letter, I'm already on edge. I kept thinking maybe I could keep this charade going live out my days quietly, with my granddaughter Sophie's visits to keep me sane. But then Miles rolled in, and things flipped upside down. It's a Saturday morning, and I'm in my room tinkering with that old radio I've been fixing. It's my way of staying grounded, keeping my hands busy while my head's a mess. The front door slams, and I hear Miles's voice loud and fake cheery like he's selling something. "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" he calls, striding into my room with a grin that doesn't reach his eyes. He's balding a bit heavier than last time, stress etched into his face from his logistics company teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. I nod wary. Still kicking son. "How's business?" I ask, knowing what's coming. Sure enough, he launches into a sob story about losing a big contract, needing new trucks, the works. "You got any spare cash?" "Dad, just a loan, I'll pay you back with interest," he says, leaning in like we're pals. I shake my head. "Miles, you know I'm living on my pension. Barely covers Laura's rent." His smile fades, eyes narrowing. "Come on, Dad. You've got to have something stashed away. You worked your whole life." I kept thinking he'd drop it like he used to when he was a kid asking for a new bike. But what I didn't see coming was how low he'd stoop. Miles paces my room, glancing at the outlets. "You know this place is a mess," he says, crouching by the wall. He fiddles with an outlet, and I hear a faint pop. Later that day, the kitchen lights flicker out. Laura storms in furious. "Henry, what did you do to the wiring? You're so careless," she snaps. I'm stunned. I haven't touched the outlets in years. I'm a damn electrician, for God's sake. But Miles chimes in, all innocent. "Yeah, Dad, you gotta be careful. That's gonna cost us." It hits me like a punch. He sabotaged the outlet to pin it on me, to squeeze me for more money, or make me feel like a burden. My own son playing dirty to manipulate me. I clench my fists, but I just nod, muttering I'll be more careful. Inside, I'm boiling, betrayed again. That evening, I'm sitting by my window staring at Clara's picture on the desk. Her eyes seem to ask why I let our kids turn out this way. I miss her so much, her steady voice telling me to stand my ground. I kept thinking I could handle Miles and Laura, keep my secret locked tight. But then Sophie slips into my room, her face pale. "Grandpa." I overheard Mom and Uncle Miles talking. She whispers, glancing at the door like Laura might barge in. They're planning something big. Something about money, maybe selling the house to pay off debts. My heart skips. Selling my house. The one I bought with that lottery money they know nothing about. Sophie's eyes are wide worried. "I don't want them to hurt you," she says, squeezing my hand. I force a smile. Tell her I'm fine, but inside, I'm reeling. They're plotting behind my back, and I'm the one who's supposed to be the helpless old man. Later, when the house is quiet, I'm rummaging through my desk for a screwdriver to fix the radio when a crumpled note falls out from a pile of old bills. It's in Laura's handwriting, talk to Victor about selling the house, clear the debts. My stomach drops. Victor's that sleazy real estate guy she's been cozying up to. What I didn't see coming was how fast they're moving, thinking they can sell my house out from under me. I sit back the note, shaking in my hands. I've spent 20 years protecting this secret, but Laura and Miles are tightening the noose. I'm not letting them manipulate me anymore. Something's gotta give, and it's not gonna be me. You ever have one of those moments where you realize you're done taking crap? That's where I'm at. Henry Grayson, 77, still playing the broke tenant in my own damn house in Slidell. After Laura's cold shoulder, Miles's dirty trick with the outlet, and that note about selling my house, I'm hanging on by a thread. I kept thinking I could keep this $1.8 million secret locked away, stay close to my granddaughter Sophie, and ride out the storm. But then things flipped upside down, and Laura pushed me right to the edge. It's Sunday morning, and I'm at the kitchen table choking down another bowl of Laura's watery oatmeal, feeling like I'm in a prison mess hall. She's across from me, calculator in hand, Nathan beside her, both of them griping about bills like, I'm not even there. Henry, the electric rate's up again, Laura says, her voice sharp as a tack. Your share's $400 this month. I nearly spit out my coffee. $400, it was $350 last week, I say, trying to keep calm. Nathan looks up from his laptop, his eyes cold. Inflation. Henry, you're a burden we're carrying here. A burden. In my house, I want to slam my fist on the table. Tell them I own every brick of this place bought with that 2005 lottery win I've hidden for 20 years. But I bite my tongue like always. Then Laura drops the bomb. We can't keep subsidizing you, she says, leaning forward, her face all business. You need to pay $500 more a month for rent, or you're out. Pay the rent, or get out. Henry. My heart stops. I stare at her, my little girl, who used to beg for bedtime stories, now looking at me like I'm a dead weight, dragging her down. Nathan nods like it's a done deal. It's only fair, he says, like he's closing a business contract. I kept thinking I could take their jabs, keep my secret safe, but what I didn't see coming was how far they'd go. I'll think about it, I mutter, my voice tight, but inside I'm burning. They're not just squeezing me for money, they're trying to break me. I need air, so I head out for a walk, my cane tapping the sidewalk in our tidy Slidell neighborhood. The houses here scream middle-class ambition. Perfect lawns, shiny cars, everyone trying to look richer than they are. My house, the biggest on the block, feels like a lie I'm living every day. I'm passing the Browns' place when David, my neighbor, waves me over. Henry heard the Browns are selling their house for $1 million, he says, eyes wide. This area's hot right now, prices are skyrocketing. I nod, my mind racing. $1 million. My house is bigger, better. What's it worth now? Ever thought of selling? David asks, handing me a business card for Raymond Cole, a real estate guy. Not my call. I say, pocketing the card, but my heart's pounding. What I didn't see coming was how that card felt like a lifeline, a way out. Back in my room, I sit by Clara's picture, her eyes steady as ever. I miss her so much, it's like a hole in my chest. She'd probably call me a stubborn old fool for keeping this secret, for letting Laura treat me like this. I pull out my phone and dial Eleanor Hart, my old lawyer who helped set up the management company to hide my ownership. Eleanor, I say, my voice low, if I wanted to sell the house. Could I do it without Laura knowing? She pauses, then says, It's doable, Henry. The company can keep your name out of it. I hang up, staring at Raymond Cole's card. For 20 years, I've played the poor old man, transferring rent to Laura's account, keeping my $1.8 million secret safe. But Laura's ultimatum, pay the rent or get out, lit a fire in me. I'm done being their punching bag. I pick up the phone again and call Raymond. "If I sell my house, can you keep my name off the deal?" I ask. He sounds intrigued. "Sure thing, Mr. Grayson. Let's talk." I hang up my hands, shaking but steady, in a way they haven't been in years. But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized Laura wasn't just making threats. She was already plotting something bigger behind my back. You ever feel like the walls are closing in? Like you're one wrong move from losing everything? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, teetering on the edge in my own damn house in Slidell. After Laura's ultimatum, pay the rent or get out, and Miles's dirty trick with the outlet, I'm ready to fight back. I've got a plan to sell this house my house bought with a $1.8 million lottery win I've hidden for 20 years. I thought I could keep my secret safe play the broke old man a little longer. But then things flipped upside down, and Laura showed me just how low she'd go. It's Monday afternoon, and I'm in my room trying to focus on my old radio, its wires spread out like my frayed nerves. I can hear Laura downstairs, her voice sharp, talking to someone new, Victor Lang, a slick real estate guy with a smile that screams used car salesman. I creep to the door, ear pressed against it, catching snippets. "We need to sell this place," Laura says, her tone all business. "It's the only way to clear our debts." Victor's voice is smooth, promising a fat commission. "No problem, Laura. Big house like this. It'll go fast." My heart pounds. Sell my house, the one I bought, the one I've been pretending to rent from her. I kept thinking she'd never go this far, but what I didn't see coming was how she'd justify it. Later at dinner, Laura's on a roll, spinning a story to Nathan about how I'm not all there anymore. "Henry's getting forgetful," she says loud enough for me to hear. "He's a liability, leaving lights on, messing up the wiring." Nathan nods, sipping his coffee. "Maybe he needs a home, one of those places for folks his age." I freeze my spoon halfway to my mouth. A home? They're talking about shipping me off to a nursing home like I'm some senile old coot. Laura's spreading lies, telling neighbors I'm losing it all to make it easier to control me and this house. I want to scream. I'm sharper than both of you put together, but I hold it in my hands, shaking under the table. She's not just after money. She's trying to erase me. I've got a management company hiding my ownership, handling taxes and paperwork, so Laura never suspects a thing. But Victor's no dummy. The next day, I catch him snooping in the garage, rifling through old files Laura told him to organize. He pulls out a yellowed bank statement, one I thought I'd hidden years ago, showing a transfer of $600,000, the down payment for this house. My stomach drops. "What's this?" Victor mutters, but Laura, impatient, snaps, "Just old junk. Focus on the sale." She brushes it off, too wrapped up in her own plans to see the truth staring her in the face. What I didn't see coming was how close my secret's getting to blowing up. That paper's a ticking time bomb, and I'm running out of time. That night, Sophie slips into my room. Her face pale as a ghost. "Grandpa," she whispers, shutting the door quick. "I heard Mom talking to that real estate guy. They're not just selling the house, they're saying you're not fit to live alone, that you need to be declared incompetent or something." My heart sinks. Incompetent Laura's trying to strip away my rights to lock me in some facility so she can cash in on my house. Sophie's eyes are wet, her voice shaking. I tried to tell her it's wrong, but she won't listen. I pull her into a hug, my own eyes stinging. "You're not like them, kid," I say, my voice rough. "You're like your grandma." But inside I'm a mess, angry, scared, cornered like a dog. I sit by Clara's picture after Sophie leaves, her eyes seeming to judge me. "I should have told you about the money," I whisper, guilt clawing at me. Clara was always honest. Would have hated this lie. I kept thinking I could keep Laura and Miles at bay, protect what's mine. But Laura's gone too far, scheming with Victor, spreading lies about my mind. I'm done being pushed around. I grab my phone and call Eleanor Hart, my lawyer, my voice low but steady. Speed up the sale, I tell her. I want this house gone before Laura figures out it's mine. Eleanor warns me it's risky, but I'm past caring. But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized Laura's plan was moving faster than I thought. You ever get to a point where you're just done playing nice? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, sitting on a $1.8 million secret that's about to blow up my life in Slidell. Laura's ultimatum. Pay the rent or get out, and her scheming with that sleazy real estate guy Victor to sell my house pushed me over the edge. Miles's dirty trick with the outlet, and Sophie's warning about Laura's plan to declare me incompetent. Yeah, I'm done being the punching bag. I kept thinking I could keep this house, my house bought with that 2005 lottery win under wraps, forever. But then things flipped upside down, and I knew I had to act fast. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm in a small coffee shop across town, away from Laura's prying eyes. Raymond Cole, the real estate guy David recommended, slides into the booth across from me, all polished shoes and confident grin. So, Mr. Grayson, what's this about selling a house? He asks, sipping his coffee. I take a deep breath, my hands steady despite the nerves. It's my house, I say, voice low. I own it, bought it 20 years ago, but my daughter Laura thinks she's the landlord. I need to sell it fast and keep my name out of it. Raymond raises an eyebrow, but doesn't flinch. That's doable, he says. With your management company handling the title, we can list it anonymously. Market's hot. 3 stories, great location. I'm thinking $860,000 easy. My heart races. $860,000. That's more than I dreamed enough to start over free from Laura's grip. I nod, signing the preliminary contract right there, my pen shaking, but my resolve solid as a rock. Back in my room, I sit by Clara's picture, her eyes boring into me. I can almost hear her voice, soft but firm from years ago. Henry, secrets eat you up inside. Be honest. I kept thinking she was right, that maybe I've gone too far with this lie. When I won that $1.8 million, I hid it to protect it from Laura and Miles, who'd burn through it like kids with candy. But now, selling the house behind their backs. It feels like a betrayal, even if they deserve it. My chest tightens with guilt. Clara would have wanted me to fix this family, not tear it apart. But then I remember Laura's cold stare, her lies about my mind, and I know I can't let her win. My phone buzzes, snapping me out of it. It's Eleanor Hart, my lawyer, her voice tense. Henry, that realtor, Laura's working with Victor. He's digging into your accounts, asking questions about the management company. Laura's pushing him hard. My stomach drops. Victor's getting too close, sniffing around the truth I've buried for 20 years. Can you stall him? I ask, my voice tight. I'm trying, Eleanor says, but you need to move fast. I hang up, my mind racing. I log into my secret bank account, still over $1 million left from the lottery, and transfer a chunk to a new account, setting up for a fresh start. It's a bold move, like jumping off a cliff, but I'm done living in fear. That evening, I'm fixing my radio when I hear Laura's footsteps in the hall. My heart skips. She's not supposed to be home. The door creaks open, and there she is, eyes darting around my room like a hawk. Henry, where's that box of old bills? She demands, already rummaging through my desk. I freeze as she pulls out a faded invoice from the management company, one I forgot to shred years ago. What's this? She mutters, squinting at it. My pulse pounds, but I play it cool. Just some junk from years back, I fibre, shrugging. She tosses it aside, distracted by her phone, not realizing she's holding a piece of my secret. What I didn't see coming was how close she's getting to unraveling everything. That invoice is a landmine, and I'm one step away from it blowing up in my face. I sit back, staring at Clara's picture, her eyes steady but sad. "I'm sorry, darling," I whisper, guilt and anger warring inside me. I've spent 20 years protecting this family from themselves, but Laura's lies and Victor's snooping are closing in. I'm not just fighting for my house, I'm fighting for my life. I grab my phone and text Raymond, "Push the sale through now." But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized Laura's moves were faster and dirtier than I ever imagined. You ever feel like you're walking a tightrope, one slip away from losing it all? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, clinging to my $1.8 million secret in this big Slidell house I've called home for 20 years. Laura's ultimatum, pay the rent or get out, and her scheming with that sleazy realtor Victor to sell my house have me cornered. Miles's dirty trick with the outlet, Sophie's warning about Laura's plan to declare me incompetent, and that close call with the old invoice Laura found in my room. I'm in deep now, racing to sell the house before my secret blows up. I kept thinking I could keep this under wraps, stay one step ahead. But then things flipped upside down, and Laura's suspicions got way too close for comfort. It's Wednesday afternoon, and I'm holed up in my room, heart still hounding from signing the contract with Raymond Cole to sell the house for $860,000, my ticket out of this mess. I'm trying to focus on my old radio wires tangled like my thoughts when my phone buzzes. It's Eleanor Hart, my lawyer, sounding like she's swallowed a lemon. "Henry." "I screwed up," she says, her voice low. "I ran into Laura at the coffee shop, and I let slip something about your big assets." She's asking questions. My stomach twists. Big assets, Laura's like a bloodhound when it comes to money. "What did you say?" I ask, gripping the phone. "Just that you're not as broke as she thinks Eleanor admits." I tried to cover, but she's sharp. I curse under my breath. What I didn't see coming was how a careless word could set Laura off like a lit fuse. Sure enough, that evening at dinner, Laura's staring daggers at me across the table. Nathan's there, glued to his laptop as usual, but even he's watching me now. "Henry." Laura says, her voice cold as ice. "Eleanor Hart mentioned, you've got some money stashed away." Care to explain? My heart's hammering, but I play it cool, stirring my watery oatmeal like it's the most interesting thing in the world. "She's got it wrong," I say, shrugging. "Just my pension. You know that." Laura's eyes narrow like she's trying to crack me open. "Don't lie to me," she snaps. "You've been squirreling something away, haven't you?" I force a laugh, but it's hollow. Inside, I'm screaming 20 years of hiding that lottery win, and now it's unraveling because of a coffee shop slip-up. Laura's not done. She's hired Victor to dig deeper, and he's poking around like a dog after a bone. I overhear her on the phone later telling him to check my bank records, the house title, anything. There's a management company handling the property, Victor says, his voice smug through the thin walls. They're cagey about the owner, but I'll get answers. My blood runs cold. That management company's been my shield keeping my name off the house Laura thinks she rents. If Victor cracks that, I'm done for. What I didn't see coming was how fast Laura's closing in like a shark smelling blood. That night, Sophie sneaks into my room, her face pale and eyes red from crying. "Grandpa," she whispers, shutting the door tight. "Mom's going crazy. She's saying you're hiding something, that you're not stable. She wants to take you to court, say you can't handle your own affairs." My heart breaks, seeing Sophie like this, caught between her mom and me. "I feel so trapped," she says, tears spilling over. "I hate how she's treating you." I pull her into a hug, my own throat tight. "You're not like her kid," I say, my voice rough. "You're like Clara, kind, honest. But inside, I'm a wreck. Laura's not just after money. She's trying to strip away my freedom, lock me in some home, while she cashes in on my house. I tell Sophie I'm okay, but I don't let on about the sale. I can't drag her into this." Alone again, I sit by Clara's picture, her eyes heavy with the truth I've avoided. "You warned me, darling," I whisper. "Secrets eat you up." Clara always said honesty was the only way, but I hid that $1.8 million to protect it from Laura and Miles, who'd bleed me dry. Now, with Laura's suspicions and Victor's digging, I'm running out of time. I kept thinking I could outsmart them, keep my secret safe. But the pressure's crushing me, and I'm scared. Scared of losing everything. Scared of what this lie's cost me. I grab my phone and text Raymond, "Get it done fast. I'm not letting Laura win this." But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized the game was about to change for good. You ever hold on to a secret so long it feels like it's part of you? Then watch it explode like a firecracker. That's me, Henry Grayson. 7, standing at the edge of a cliff I've built myself. For 20 years, I've hidden my $1.8 million lottery win, pretending to be a broke tenant in my own Slidell house, while Laura, my daughter, lorded it over me. Her ultimatum, pay the rent or get out. Miles's dirty trick with the outlet, her scheming with Victor to sell my house, and her lies about my mind pushed me to the breaking point. I signed the contract to sell the house with Raymond, my realtor, to take back control. I kept thinking I could outrun Laura's suspicions, keep my secrets safe. But then things flipped upside down, and the truth came crashing out. It's Thursday morning, and I'm in my room packing my life into 2 suitcases, clothes, Clara's picture, my old radio. My phone buzzes. It's Raymond Cole, his voice buzzing with excitement. "Henry, we've got a buyer, $860,000. Cash, quick close. I'm sending Laura the eviction notice today. She's got 30 days to move out." My heart skips. $860,000. That's my freedom. My chance to live without Laura's cold stares. But my hands shake as I think about Clara, her voice echoing in my head. "Be honest, Henry. I've kept this secret to protect my money from Laura and Miles. But now, it's about to blow up in their faces." I nod to myself, muttering, "It's time." An hour later, my phone rings again. It's Laura, her voice shrill and panicked. "Henry, what the hell's going on? Some realtor sent a letter saying we're being evicted. The house is sold." There's got to be a mistake. I take a deep breath, my heart pounding like a drum. This is it, the moment I've dreaded and dreamed of. "No mistake, Laura." I say, my voice steady for the first time in years. "The house is mine. I bought it 20 years ago with a $1.8 million lottery win I never told you about." Silence. Then she explodes, her voice cracking. "What? You're lying. You're just a broke old man. How could you own this house?" I swallow hard, the weight of 20 years lifting and crushing me all at once. "I hid it because you and Miles would have bled me dry," I say. "Every time I helped you, you came back for more. Never grateful, always demanding." Laura's sobbing now. But it's not sorrow, it's rage. "You betrayed us. You're throwing your own family out on the street." I clench my jaw. "I'm not throwing you out. You've got 30 days to find a place. You'll manage." Nathan's voice cuts in quieter, almost hesitant. "Laura, you went too far," he says, and I'm stunned. "Nathan, Mr. Numbers admitting she's wrong. But you're still family, Henry," he adds. "Like that fixes everything." I shake my head even though they can't see. "Family doesn't threaten to kick family out," I say. Laura's back on her voice, venomous. "I'll sue you, Henry. I found that old bank statement in your room. I know you're hiding money and I'll prove it." My stomach lurches. That damn statement Victor found? She's got a piece of the puzzle, but not the whole picture. What I didn't see coming was how far she'd go to fight me even now. "Do what you have to," I say, my voice cold. "But the house is sold." I hang up my hands, trembling, a mix of relief and dread washing over me. By evening, I'm in a small apartment downtown, a modest place I rented last week, just $1,200 a month less than I was paying Laura to live in my own house. It's cramped with a tiny bedroom and a kitchen you can barely turn around in, but it's mine. No more pretending, no more dodging Laura's demands. I set Clara's picture on the nightstand, her eyes softer now like she's proud. I kept thinking I'd feel triumphant, but it's bittersweet. I've spent 20 years lying to protect what's mine, and now the truth's out. It feels like I've lost more than I've gained. Laura's words, "You betrayed us," echo in my head, and I wonder if Clara would agree. But then I remember her ultimatum, her lies about my mind, and I know I did what I had to. I sit in the worn armchair by the window, looking out at Slidell's quiet streets. For the first time in years, I breathe easy, like a weight's been lifted. But what I didn't see coming was how Laura would fight back, and how her next move would make this mess even uglier. Things flipped upside down again, and I realized this wasn't the end, it was just the start of a bigger battle. You ever feel like you've won a battle but still lost something bigger? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, sitting in my new downtown Slidell apartment, free from the lie I lived for 20 years. I dropped the bomb on Laura last week, told her I owned the house she thought was hers, bought with a $1.8 million lottery win I kept secret since 2005. Her ultimatum, pay the rent or get out. And her scheming with Victor to sell my house pushed me to sell it for $860,000. But it was dirty tricks. Sophie's tears and Laura's lies about my mind lit a fire in me. I kept thinking spilling the truth would set me free, maybe even fix things. But then things flipped upside down, and I realized truth doesn't heal a family like mine. It just burns. It's Friday afternoon, and I'm unpacking in my cramped apartment. 2 suitcases, Clara's picture, my old radio, when there's a pounding on the door. It's Laura and Miles barging in like they own the place. Laura's face is red eyes blazing. "You destroyed our family, Henry," she screams. "You lied to us, hid millions, and now we're homeless." Miles, pacing like a caged animal, chimes in. "You're a selfish old man, Dad. Throwing us out for what?" Revenge. I stand my ground, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. "You want to talk about selfish," I say. "Every time I helped you, college cars, weddings, you came back for more. Never a thank you. I hid the money because you'd have burned through it like wildfire." Laura's eyes narrow, venomous. "You're no father," she spits. "You're a liar." I clench my fists thinking of Clara, who'd begged me to teach our kids gratitude. I kept thinking they'd see me as more than a wallet, but what I didn't see coming was how deep their greed ran. That evening, I'm dragged to a neighborhood meeting by my neighbor David, who thinks I need to get out more. I'm barely listening when Lila Carter, a young woman from the Slidell Community Center, steps up to the mic. "I want to thank our anonymous donor," she says, her voice warm, For years, they've funded scholarships for dozens of kids, $200,000 for college and trade programs. She pauses, smiling. We just learned it's Henry Grayson. The room erupts in applause, neighbors turning to me with shocked smiles. My face burns. I never wanted the spotlight, but Lila's gratitude hits me like a wave. I glance at Laura and Miles, who followed me here, their faces frozen in embarrassment. Laura's jaw drops. Miles looks like he's been slapped. They've spent years treating me like a burden, and now the whole town knows I've been helping kids while they schemed to sell my house. What I didn't see coming was how good it felt to see their smug masks crack, even if just for a moment. Later, as I'm leaving, Nathan catches me alone in the parking lot. "Henry," he says, his voice low, almost ashamed. I knew Laura was pushing too hard. I should have stopped her. I'm stunned. Nathan, the number-crunching robot, admitting fault. "But she's my wife," he adds. "And your family." I shake my head, tired. Family doesn't lie about my sanity or kick me out of my own house, I say. "I'm done, Nathan." He looks away, and I walk off, feeling no urge to forgive. Clara's voice echoes in my head. Family's worth fighting for. But this family, they fought for my money, not me. Back in my apartment, I sit by Clara's picture, her eyes heavy with questions. I'm torn. Part of me feels smug watching Laura and Miles squirm in front of the neighbors, but part of me's hollow. I kept thinking the truth would fix things, make them see me. Instead, it's torn us apart. Then my phone buzzes a text from Sophie. "Grandpa Mom found an old copy of your will. It says Sophie gets everything." She's furious. My heart sinks. That will, drafted years ago, was meant to secure Sophie's future, not start a war. What I didn't see coming was how Laura would twist even that against me. She's not done fighting, and now she's got a new weapon. I lean back, staring out at Slidell's twinkling lights. The applause from the meeting lingers, a reminder I've done some good despite the mess. But the emptiness is there too. Clara's gone. My kids hate me, and Sophie's caught in the crossfire. I've won my freedom, but at what cost? But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized Laura's next move would test me in ways I never imagined. You ever feel like you're finally breathing after holding your breath for years? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, sitting in my new one-story house in Slidell, free from the lie I lived for 20 years. After dropping the bomb on Laura that I owned the house she thought was hers, bought with a $1.8 million lottery win, she and Miles lost it, accusing me of betraying them. Their humiliation at the neighborhood meeting, when Lila from the community center spilled my secret donations, felt like justice, but it left me hollow. I kept thinking spilling the truth would fix things, make me whole. But then things flipped upside down, and I realized freedom comes with a price. It's been a week since I moved into this cozy little house. No stairs, wide doorways, a garden out back bursting with tulips and early roses. I paid $520,000 cash, no mortgage. Something Laura would have called reckless. I'm out here planting flowers, my hands in the dirt, feeling like I'm rebuilding more than a garden. I went to a new doctor last week, a guy named Phelps, who ran tests and grinned. "Henry, for 77, you're in damn good shape. Keep moving, and you've got years left." Years I kept thinking Laura's nagging about my fading health was true, but here I am, stronger than she ever gave me credit for. I bought a big armchair, the kind I always wanted, and a flat-screen TV for old movies Clara loved. For the first time, I'm spending my money without looking over my shoulder, and it feels like coming up for air. Sophie, my granddaughter, shows up Saturday afternoon, her eyes wide as she steps into the living room. "Grandpa, this place is awesome," she says, running her hand over the new oak bookshelves I filled with my detective novels. She's 19, bright as a star, and the only one who never treated me like a cash machine. "Mom said you'd be in some rundown shack." She laughs, but her smile fades. She's still mad, Grandpa. Her and Uncle Miles, they're fighting non-stop about the house. I nod my chest tight. I pull her to the porch where we sit with iced tea, the garden buzzing with bees. "Sophie," I say, my voice low, "I set up a trust fund for you. For college, your dreams, whatever you want, after you graduate." Her jaw drops, eyes welling up. "Grandpa, you don't have to," she starts, but I cut her off. "You're the only one who saw me, not my wallet. You're like Clara Kidd." She hugs me tight, tears soaking my shirt, and for a moment, I feel whole again. But Sophie's face clouds over. "Mom found that old," Will she says, voice shaky. "She's telling everyone you cut her out, that you're giving everything to me. She's talking about lawyers." My heart sinks. That Will drafted years ago to secure Sophie's future is now a weapon in Laura's hands. What I didn't see coming was how she'd twist my love for Sophie into another fight. "Don't worry, kid," I say, squeezing her hand. "It's locked up tight till you're ready." But inside I'm churning Laura's not done, and she's dragging Sophie into this mess. I kept thinking I'd protected her, but now she's caught in the crossfire torn between her mom and me. Later, alone in my garden, I sit by Clara's picture, her eyes soft but piercing. "Did I do right by Sophie?" I whisper, guilt gnawing at me. Clara always said family was worth fighting for, but Laura and Miles fought for money, not love. I joined a book club down the street, met folks my age who talk Steinbeck and play chess, and it's like I'm waking up after a long sleep. But the emptiness lingers. My kids hate me, and Sophie's hurting. I kept thinking this new house, this freedom would fill the hole Clara left. But what I didn't see coming was how the past keeps clawing its way back. As the sun sets, I'm watering my roses when my phone buzzes a text from Laura. "We need to talk, Henry. You can't run from this." My stomach twists. She's not letting go, and that Will's got her thinking she can still get a piece of me. But then, things flipped upside down again, and I realized this fight wasn't over. It was about to get uglier. You ever feel like you're finally breaking free from a cage you didn't even know you were in? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, sitting on the porch of my new one-story house in Slidell, breathing easier than I have in years. After dropping the bomb on Laura that I owned the house she thought was hers, bought with a $1.8 million lottery win her, and Miles's meltdown was something else. Their public humiliation at the neighborhood meeting when Lila Carter spilled my secret donations to the community center felt like justice, but it left a hole in my chest. Sophie's warning about Laura finding my old will meant for her future has me on edge. I kept thinking I'd won my freedom, that I could finally live on my terms. But then things flipped upside down, and I realized Laura wasn't done fighting. This new house is my sanctuary. No stairs, wide doorways, a garden out back bursting with tulips and early roses. I paid $520,000 cash, no mortgage, a move Laura would have called a waste. I'm out here most mornings, hands in the dirt, planting flowers like I'm rebuilding my life one petal at a time. Last week I saw a new Dr. Phelps, who ran a full checkup and gave me a grin. "Henry, you're healthier than most guys your age. Keep moving and you've got plenty of years left." Healthier? I kept thinking Laura's nagging about my failing health was true. But now I'm feeling like I've got a new lease on life. I bought a comfy armchair, the kind Clara always said I deserved, and a big flat screen for her favorite old movies. For the first time in 20 years, I'm spending my money without dodging Laura's glares, and it's like waking up from a long, bad dream. Sophie shows up Saturday afternoon, her eyes wide, as she steps into my living room, now lined with oak bookshelves stuffed with my detective novels. "Grandpa, this place is amazing," she says, her smile bright as a summer day. She's 19, a college freshman, with dreams of being a journalist and the only one who ever saw me as more than a paycheck. "Mom said you'd be holed up in some dump," she laughs. But her face falls. "She's still furious, Grandpa. Her and Uncle Miles are fighting all the time about you, the house, everything." I nod my throat tight and pull her out to the porch. We sit with glasses of iced tea, the garden humming with life. "Sophie," I say, my voice low, "I set up a trust fund for you, college. Your journalism dreams, whatever you need, after you graduate." Her eyes well up and she shakes her head. "Grandpa, you don't have to do that. I should have stood up to Mom, more protected you." Her voice cracks and she buries her face in her hands, guilt pouring out. I pull her into a hug, my own eyes stinging. "You're the only one who ever cared, kid." I say, my voice rough. "You're like Clara Hart, bigger than this whole town." But Sophie's shoulders tense. "Mom's digging again," she says, her voice barely a whisper. "She found that old Will says you're giving everything to me." She's talking to lawyers, Grandpa's saying she'll fight it. My stomach twists. That will drafted to secure Sophie's future after college is now Laura's latest weapon. What I didn't see coming was how she'd drag Sophie into this war, turning my love for my granddaughter into another battleground. "Don't you worry," I tell her, squeezing her hand. "It's locked up tight, Eleanor made sure of that." But inside, I'm churning. Sophie's caught in the middle, torn between her mom and me, and it's killing me to see her hurt like this. Later, alone in my garden, I'm watering my roses. Clara's picture on the patio table, her eyes steady as ever. "Did I do right by her, Clara?" I whisper, guilt clawing at me. Clara always said family was worth fighting for, but Laura and Miles only fought for my money. I joined a book club down the street last week, swapping stories about Steinbeck, with folks my age playing chess, like I used to with Clara. It's like I'm finding pieces of myself again, but the emptiness lingers. My kids hate me, and Sophie's paying the price. I kept thinking, this house, this freedom would fill the void Clara left. But what I didn't see coming was how Laura's shadow keeps creeping back. As the sun dips low, my phone buzzes a text from Laura. "You can't hide forever. Henry, we're not done." My heart sinks. She's not letting go, and that will's got her thinking she can still get her claws in me. But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized the real fight was just beginning. You ever get to a place where you feel like you've fought your way out of a storm, only to wonder if you left something behind? That's me, Henry Grayson, 77, sitting on the porch of my new Slidell house, finally free from the lie. I lived for 20 years. I dropped the bomb on Laura, told her I owned the house she thought was hers, bought with a $1.8 million lottery win. Her and Miles's meltdown, their humiliation when Lila Carter outed my donations at the town meeting felt like justice, but it cost me my kids. Sophie's caught in the middle, torn up over Laura's fight, to claim my old will for herself. I kept thinking I'd found peace in this new life, with my garden and my freedom. But then, things flipped upside down, and a letter from Laura made me question everything. It's a quiet Sunday morning, and I'm out on my porch sipping real coffee, not that instant junk Laura used to buy. My garden's blooming tulips and roses dancing in the breeze a world away from the cold mansion I sold for $860,000. I've settled in no stairs, wide doorways, a big armchair where I watch Clara's favorite old movies. I joined a book club down the street swapping stories about Hemingway with folks my age, feeling like I'm stitching myself back together after years of being torn down. Dr. Phelps, my new doc, says I'm healthier than most guys my age, which makes me laugh. Laura always said I was one step from the grave. I kept thinking this new life would fill the hole Clara left, but there's still an ache, a quiet one for the family I thought I'd have. Then the mail comes, and my heart stops. A letter from Laura, her handwriting sharp and familiar. I sit at the kitchen table, Clara's picture watching me, and open it. Henry, it starts. I was wrong to treat you like a burden. I didn't know the truth. Can we talk? No, sorry, no real regret. Just Laura trying to claw her way back in. I kept thinking she might have changed, that maybe losing the house opened her eyes. But what I didn't see coming was how hollow her words felt, like a business deal dressed up as family. She wants to meet, probably, sniffing around for money, especially after finding that old will that leaves everything to Sophie. I set the letter down, my hands steady, but my chest tight. Clara's voice echoes in my head from years ago, when we fought over how to handle our kids' greed. Family's about forgiveness, Henry, but not about letting them walk all over you. I whisper to her picture. Did I do right, darling? I'm torn. Part of me wants to believe Laura, but the bigger part knows she's never seen me as anything but a paycheck. Sophie called earlier, her voice shaky. Grandpa Mom's still talking to lawyers about that will, she said. She thinks she can fight it, take your money for herself. My heart aches for Sophie, caught between her mom and me, carrying guilt for my choices. I told her about the trust fund I set up for her college, her journalism dreams, everything Clara would have wanted for her. You don't owe them anything, I said, but her tears told me she's paying the price anyway. Laura's dragging her into this mess, and it kills me. I kept thinking I'd protected Sophie by keeping my secret, but now I'm not so sure. As the sun dips low, my phone buzzes a text from Miles. We need to talk, Dad. My stomach twists. Miles, who only calls when he smells money, probably heard about the will from Laura. What I didn't see coming was how they'd keep coming back, like vultures circling. I set the phone down, screen dark, and step out to the porch. The garden's glowing in the twilight, birds chirping, a breeze carrying the scent of roses. I sip my coffee, Clara's picture beside me, and fold Laura's letter without answering. For the first time in years, I'm not hiding, not pretending, not bending to their demands. I'm just Henry Grayson, a guy who's earned his peace. But that ache lingers. Clara's gone. My kids are strangers, and Sophie's hurting. I kept thinking freedom would be enough, but it's bittersweet, like a song you love, but can't quite sing. I smile at the garden, at the life I'm building, and let the letter sit. Maybe I'll answer, maybe I won't. But then things flipped upside down again, and I realized some fights don't end, they just change shape. So that's my story, folks. Henry Grayson, Chapter 7, a guy who hid a $1.8 million secret to protect what was mine, only to learn family isn't about money, but respect. Laura and Miles's greed cost them my trust, but Sophie's heart showed me there's still hope. I kept thinking freedom would fill the void Clara left, but it's taught me something bigger. You can't buy love, and you don't owe anyone your dignity. I'm here sipping coffee on my porch, my garden blooming, living life on my terms. If you've ever fought to stand tall against those who tried to tear you down, you get it. Hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe to join me in celebrating the strength to start over. Because in the end, it's not about what you have, it's about who you are.